Okay, so hi, welcome everyone. We have Anushka with us today for the weekend session of BBKP. Welcome Anushka. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations on being studying now at one of the most prestigious colleges, and I'm sure all the students out here want to hear you out. Before me, you are of their age group. Maybe younger to some of the students listening to you as well. But yes, as they say that wisdom can come from really young students like you as well. So that's what we are here for. However, I'll just take 5 minutes and set the perspective for the session today. So Anushka, we really want to understand your journey, your experiences, your ups and downs over the last 1 year, 2 years, whatever time you were preparing for. Your favorite sections, what extra did you do? What emotions did you go through? So, what I'm trying to say here is that what we as faculties at times only impart is the basics, the fundamentals part of the preparation, but then there are so many other things which are also involved. And I always tell the students here that it's not always about the whole thing going right for the person who's got through good B school. It's all about patience that the person goes through, right? Uh, the difficult circumstances which they face during this preparation, and how they overcome it. So after taking a couple of more minutes, we would really want you to uh, tell your story, and then we'll ask questions. And I always tell my students here that please keep asking questions. It's a very personalized way in which we have to prepare for this examination. What maybe, yes, suited a person A may not be the right way for you to do it, but then you need to personalize it, and you can only personalize it by our experience, like 15, 20 years of our experience, or some with, and mixing it with someone who's just cleared the good B school and understanding, and then having your own strategy, right? So this is what we're going to focus on. But Anushka, with your permission, a couple of traits which I've always seen in all the students across. One, they're very confident. Okay, I'm sure we were interacting today as well. So I feel, one, they're very confident. Second, they know that they'll face difficult situations and difficult circumstances. It was not like I was born with a good English verbal section and a quant section and the DILR section, and I knew all the answers in the interview, and I was just meant to it. I was born to get into a good B school. No, it was never like that. Am I right? So that's when I said that a student strives to get into a good B school, and that striving needs to happen with a very calm mind, by taking your stakeholders along with you, your parents. It cannot be like you fighting at one end with your parents and your friends, and then you're trying to focus on the examination. That focus does not come in, right? Second is, they're very sincere with their schedules. So though Anushka is a fresher, we students know it, that we've had uh, people from IIMs, students studying at IIMs who had work experience, talking about how they used to manage both the things, and it used to be really difficult for them. So we'll understand her schedules as well. So and make it very personalized. Whatever questions you want to ask, please, most welcome. And I assure you, Anushka will answer all your questions. Anushka, over to you. And the way what I just said to you in the morning, just speak your heart out. These guys, it's not about being perfect in the preparation. It's about going through those ups and downs. I really want to listen from you. How did you do it? How does it feel? First of all, start from where. How does it feel? Talking from the hostel of XLRI. I think it's the most exciting thing. Yes. And I've had colleagues who've passed out of XLRI. When I was working with Citibank, I had a lot of colleagues who passed out of XLRI, and so have had a fair experience, and I really want to hear you. So over to you. Before these guys shut me up, over to you. You the star for today. Yes, please.
Okay, so hi, I am Anushka. I would like to. I'll just share some of my background.
Yes.
So I am an engineer, computer science engineer, and I cleared my examination in the last year of my engineering degree. So basically, I didn't take a drop, and I don't have any work experience. So complete
Yes, very
fresher.
nice. Yes.
And so basically, I was more into preparing for CAT. Okay, so I started my preparation, and I guess yeah, I started my preparation from February 2021 for CAT 2021, and I was really sure that I want to go for CAT because I was told that that is the most difficult examination. I was not keeping my hopes high there, so but I was having a good preparation for CAT, but yeah, I am from that COVID era basically when my college were online, so things were just like we didn't have a schedule. We were having our classes, we were having our exams, we were having our sessions for preparation and everything, and at the same time we were having COVID. So there was this particular era from I guess May to July when my family was diagnosed with COVID, and I was the only person who did it. So I had to stop my preparation back then and to focus on them, which actually disrupted my preparation somewhat. And eventually, I didn't do that good in CAT. My CAT percentile was like 95.47 somewhat. That is one thing that if people assume here that I have always been good at everything, that's not true. I ruined my CAT, and especially my quant section there. But I did prepare one more month for that, and I actually got through it pretty well. I had 98.68 percentile in that. And yes, that was the one thing. That is simply my journey, I would say. But what I have learned from it would be that I had this thinking in the beginning that when I am preparing for CAT, why am I supposed to give other examination? When I know that my preparation is going well, why should I go for preparing for other examination as well when I can get into an IIM? Because that was my aim eventually. But even slowly and gradually, I realized that one thing is these other examinations are good as a backup because eventually you can't rely on one day. You might have prepared really well, but that one day decides the result. And the other thing is that they are good for practice as well because you are actually being present at that particular place where there are so many people competing with you. So that is one thing that made me realize that how important it is to actually apply for various examinations and not just like I'm not saying that leave the CAT preparation and go prepare for everything, but at least apply for them. And the other fact is that I have heard this a lot that being a fresher, it would be really difficult to get into any good B school. Eventually, you have to adjust with a little lower one. But yeah, to be very honest, there would be many people here who would be fresher and who would think that it is better that I had a work ex. Believe me, the people who have work ex also feel that if they had prepared for CAT when they were the students, it would have given them an edge. They wouldn't have wasted these years. So it's like you always think that it is better on the other side. So that is something. Don't just focus on those things right now. Right now, focus on your preparation, I would say.
But they're significant. I really want to check. It's a very touchy topic with freshers because the grass on the other side always seems to be greener. Everyone feels, and in India, we try to suddenly do really good and we want the best. We try to postpone it. कि मैं अब 2 साल तैयारी करूंगा, 3 साल तैयारी करूंगा. So tell us more about this. That are there significant numbers of students who are freshers in XLRI?
Yes, there is. To be very honest, not just in XLRI, in most of the top B schools, there would be at least 50% freshers.
Right,
so
right.
That's not the thing. Right?
So I'll let you continue, but we have interacted with so many students having work experience as well. It's been like, Anushka, I'll tell you, they used to work till 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. Private jobs really want you to work hard, right? And they were working with good companies like Mahindra, Infosys, TCS. And they say that we used to come back at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock at times. After COVID, मतलब work from home नहीं होता था तो ऐसे करना पड़ता था, and then study till 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock at night, right? So while I have always said that your aptitude and your attitude change and improve when you put under pressure. That 8 baje tak aap kar rahe ho, uske baad pad rahe ho, but why, get yourself into that situation? It's better that pehle hi kar lo yaar, right? And have a couple of more years to enjoy with a good package. Right? We all want to do it as one part of the, as it's an important part of life, right? Yes, am I right? So with freshers being in the B school, I think there's no point कि हम वर्क एक्सपीरियंस के लिए जाएं, बाद में देखेंगे, पहले अभी अच्छी तरह तैयारी करते हैं, right, Anushka?
Yeah, that is good.
Yeah. So please continue. Also tell us about life at XLRI, so that is this your hostel? Are you talking from your hostel?
Yeah, this is my hostel.
Very fantastic. So how's your schedule like in XLRI? Just touch upon it. I know it's for 1-2 minutes, so that this is what most of our students want to get into. Yes.
As you were telling me, that where the work experience people, they have to work from so hour and then they have to study as well. So yeah, it's better to come here as a fresher, because eventually in MBA journey you have to do these things. You have to literally study you have to attend your classes from morning to evening. Then you have to study. Then you have to take care of your summer internship placement, which will happen just after the first term. First term is just 3 months. 3 months you have like 7 to 9 subjects to cover. Like, it is really rigorous here. You get like 4 to 5 hours sleep, and which is very good. If you are getting 4 to 5 hours sleep, it is really good. Because you have committee selection, you have many things to do. So if you will ask me that how is my campus, how is everything, I didn't get time to enjoy it till now, because I'm in my first term. I just got done with my first term examination yesterday. So yeah, the rigor is really, really hard here, but eventually you adjust to it, because if you are coming here for MBA, you have made your mind you want to get into this. So you will adjust to it, because when you will go out in the corporate world, you have to work hard. And you can't just be like that, I don't want to, I just want, if you have this tag of a really good B school, if you are getting into really good companies, there should be something that you have. Like, why are you getting these things? So yeah, it's really rigorous, but eventually you learn a lot.
Right. I'm sure. So, one thing on the freshers part, I'll also like to add, Anushka, is my last assignment in the corporate world was, I was leading a team of 450. And why did we need freshers? After, we used to go to different B schools to recruit. And why did we look for freshers was because these freshers, one, will have more energy. Second, they will not have any preconceived notions कि ये चीज तो ऐसे ही हो सकती है. So when I was doing this transitioning to the digital platform for a particular bank, we really we wanted to pick up freshers, because they will not come up and say that this thing because an experienced person will always come and say that this thing can be done only in a particular way. I don't want that. I want people to come up with new ideas on how can the whole re-engineering process happen. And that's very important for organization. So a mixed bag will not only be here, a mixed bag will also be in the organization where freshers and people with experience will be there. So very, very valid point, Anushka. So Anushka, what about your preparation? How did your preparation go? So you said you started studying in February 2021. What were your learnings? What do you want our students to focus on?
There is one thing that I have heard a lot, which is that right now, let me focus on just the examination. I'll go with improving my vocabulary, or I'll go with reading the newspaper after I get done with the examination. So one thing that I was sure about is that I have to read a newspaper every day.
Okay.
Because I knew that it's not something you get done in just a month or two. Eventually, you have to know the news. So that is one thing I would say that I focused on. And except for that, one more thing I have heard a lot, I used to hear a lot in my preparation, was that right now focus on quant. Verbal is something which won't take much time, which is not true. Okay. Verbal takes a lot of time.
Yes, it does.
Because you have to be, if you are trying to do good in verbal, it is the most unpredictable section for me. because you don't know how the question can be. There's no particular formula for that. So verbal is something that I have prepared from the very beginning. I was doing, there would be some basic books that would have been suggested. For example, I forgot the name, Word Power Made Easy, and many such books, which are really popular among MBA students, which are to be done. It is not even an option. They are really good, they have to be done. So I believe that verbal is something that one has to prepare from the very beginning. You can't just keep it for the end. And quant is something that I ruined in my CAT. But yeah, I prepared really good for quant as well, because I am basically from a PCM background. I used to like maths. So it was not like I don't like it. So I worked for quant, but yeah, quant needs practice. So I just gave up on practice at the end. I knew
Okay.
that. So that is one suggestion I would give. Never underestimate quant. Like, don't give up practicing it. You have to practice it till the end. Except for that, DILR was one section I was just not sure about, that I thought I can't do good in that. Weirdly, that is the section I scored the most in, but I prepared really well for it. I saw 2 sets every day
Okay.
for one DI, one LR, especially DI, because LR was something I was still okay with. DI is that I'm not thorough with quick calculations with speed maths, so I used to go more with that. Yeah, except for that, if we are talking about that decision making, people assume that it is something that you will just do. It is just basic thing. No, it's not. Every answer there is confusing. You will feel like every answer is correct. So decision making is something which needs practice, which is something which holds back most of the people in that.
Right. Okay. So, Anushka, how did you actually start? Let's pick up quant. How did you actually prepare for quant? So you were good in it. Then did you do multiple books? How did you approach? So the question remains same for quant, LR, and English, and the verbal section. We want just 2 minutes each maximum on each of these. Yes.
There is one thing that if I go for sources, there are many sources for everything. But I didn't actually split my attention to every source. I first went for the booklets. First, I
Okay.
went for the class notes, basically. The class
Okay.
notes which were given, which I made while starting. After that, I went for the booklet. I completed the booklet because I knew that it contained every kind of question, from easy to advanced, everything. So yeah, I completed the booklet, and then I used to go for, this is the same thing for all the 3. Okay.
Right.
And after that, there was one thing that helped me a lot. This was analyzing the question paper after giving the mock test. Because mock test is something people believe, actually I used to believe that the score I'm getting in mock test is something I'll get in CAT, which is not true actually, because it is very different. It's just one day eventually.
Yes.
But when I was giving those mock tests and I was analyzing them, I was getting to know various kinds of questions which could come. And it was not just the practice question, it's like the real questions that could come. So that helped me a lot, the analysis part. That is one thing I would suggest, which is very important. Analyzing the mock test after giving it. So yes, except for that, verbal, I did read novels a lot. I love to read. That is one thing. So it wasn't a problem for me, but I read a lot of non-fictional novels, and yeah, the vocabulary books like for Far Made Easy. One more I remember. I can't remember the name right now, but
All
there are
about
many such
words.
books.
All about words.
Yeah, all about words.
Yes. No, that's okay. Perfectly right. So I'll voice that out again, keeping in mind my other sessions as well. But it's not only about you; it's about everyone. They were very sincere about getting their fundamentals right. Everyone made notes, which I said. I think you also pointed out. And we did not discuss it, right? As I was waiting. That does she also have the same thing? Yes, everyone made notes. They referred to those notes because you cannot go back and do the whole thing again, but you can remember where were you going wrong and what was your strength out there. And the second thing was they took mocks and they analyzed mocks. Third thing, right, which you again said, which has been said again and again in sessions, that mocks are preparing you, that's also part of your preparation. Because there was a student who said it very clearly, Anushka, that the first test he got 69 percentile. He's sitting in IIM and is one of the, the top quartile of the IIM students. So if he can get it from 69 to NIM, I'm sure everyone can. So they should not be discouraged. In short, is what I want to say. Am I right? They should not be discouraged.
Don't.
Okay.
Literally don't. Most of the friends I have who are in IIM, many of them had like 70-80 percentile. They have had 70-80 percentile in mock. They scored well in CAT eventually because they prepared well. So it's not like, I'm not saying that don't score good. That's not true. But if you're scoring not that good, don't just get disheartened from it because eventually you can pick.
Yes. So YouTube is they're saying that your story is really inspiring. I should point out here. And they're also saying that being humble in this preparation is very important with Anushka is, and I second that one needs to be humble. You cannot, you cannot have an attitude, ego, and clear the paper. No, things will go. So Anushka, things will go wrong. And I was saying that, what went wrong? Apart from COVID, yes, that was a big thing in the family. Was like it's a smooth journey. Any other thing which you want to discuss here? Yes.
Actually, I was told already that if you're going for MBA, you need many extracurriculars. And you get to, when you reach the end, when you are so near the examination, you realize that if I go for MBA, I should need extracurricular. So I started applying for internships. I applied for different things and everything because I was like, now I can go. I can give exam. I am good at it. I'm scoring good in mocks. But I need extracurricular. As I said, then I left the practice for quant eventually. I would actually tell you my actual percentiles in all three of them. My DILR percentile was 99.8. My verbal was 90. My quant was 76.
Oh.
My quant just brought everything down.
Yes. So, and many non-engineers staying there, listening to us, will say that engineers ka to ho hi jata hai. Engineers ka quant to acha hoga hi hoga. So it's not like that, right? So when you got the score, it would have been like 76. How can I get a 76 percentile, right? Yes. But then one thing good which Anushka, I think you did, and you can correct me, is that you applied for other papers. You prepared properly, you applied for other papers. So by chance, if one did not go right, the others went right. Yes. Okay. Very nice. So what was your strategy of mocks? Were you taking, how many mock tests did you take actually? Exactly?
If I'll tell the full mock, I took like 30 of them.
Okay.
The full mock. And I used to take sectional mocks. I don't think many, but I would say 10 of each.
Okay. No, so yes, that's another thing, that ideally 30 plus is what everyone requires, depending on your level, to crack the paper. Which newspapers did you read, Anushka?
Actually, I started from Hindu, but I eventually realized that it is pretty biased from my side.
Sorry, which newspaper did you start with?
I started with Hindu.
Okay.
But it wasn't actually, it was pretty biased from some areas, I realized. So I went for Indian Express. Indian Express is one paper that I am still there with. So one is Indian Express, other one is Economic Times. These two newspapers were which I used to read, and I still go with both of them.
Yes. So though it takes time to understand these newspapers, especially Economic Times, if you're from an engineering background. But once you start understanding, you start connecting the dots, how one thing in the economy is related to the other thing in the economy. So, the next question comes is, what was your strategy for the interview? What were you asked? How did you prepare?
Okay. So I gave many interviews eventually. Because I got 76 in quant, I was saved because it was the cutoff was 75.
Okay.
So I got calls from all the baby IIMs at least, and I got from Shillong. So I gave many interviews. My strategy for interviews was, first of all, I prepared for GD. We didn't have GD, but I prepared for it. While preparing for it, I knew that I am not thorough with many topics that could be asked. For example, finance. So one thing that I used to do was I used to read the articles of finance randomly. I used to read the articles of psychology randomly. Every
Very
day I
nice.
used to read like 2-3 articles, because it was like if I get familiar with them and somebody asks me something, I have something to say.
Yes.
So because I was preparing for GD well, when questions came in interview, I had data. And when you back your words with data, it creates a better impact.
Definitely.
So that is one thing. Second thing that I told you was I used to read news. I used to listen. I used to read news. And when I was having my interviews, the Ukraine-Russia issue was really fresh. So I had, and as it was fresh, it was also a huge issue. Like it was going on from 2-3 months now. So it had a lot of data with it. That was one question I knew could come. But at the same time, I knew it's very famous. There is a fair chance they won't ask that. So there were many issues that were going on that I had read from like 1.5 years. And one thing is that at least in XAT, at least in XLRI interview, they asked you the current affairs. So that helped me a lot, because it shows that you read news. You are aware of
Yes.
the things going on around you.
Yes.
Except for that, one thing is that I like to read. I just normally like to read novels. So that is one thing they ask at times, that what are the favorite books? What are your favorite book? What is the last book you read? Questions related to it. So that also gave me a fair chance, because I had a lot to discuss with them in that sense. So I believe that is one thing. Apart from that, communicating with people. I love to talk to people. And if you don't, there are various softwares where you can randomly communicate. You can just record yourself, hear yourself out. Like, how do you talk? So I realized that it is really important, the way you talk, the way you express yourself, the way your hand gestures go in interviews. So yeah, they really care for your body language at times. So I guess that gave me an edge as well.
Okay. Okay. Very nice. Very nice. So what? Now 50 days left to CAT for some students who are listening to us, and there'll be many more listening to the video after that, after the YouTube video after this as well. So what's your take on the last 50 days to the paper? Yes.
I would
What
say
should they
don't
do?
pick up. Yeah, I would say don't pick up new things.
Mm.
You have had your preparation. Be confident about it. Prepare about it. Revise everything revise your thing. Don't just pick up new concept because somebody else has read them. Don't compare yourself at this present time with others scores, other mock scores and everything. Be firm with your preparation. And one very good advice that somebody gave me was, when you are having your CAT paper, just 2 days before your CAT paper, or at least one day, relax. Don't keep on reading this, reading that. I have my paper and everything. Don't panic at that time. You need one day to relax. I took one day. I slept nicely. I watched some videos, normal videos. Like I watched not a movie, but at least some random videos. Like I relaxed. So take one day to relax. Don't panic on uh, the last day to CAT. That is one thing. And yeah, I believe that you'll do good. Don't panic now. You have
So
prepared a lot.
right. So be confident. Be
Yeah,
confident
with your
that you've
preparation.
worked hard enough, and now that you need to have that calmness to crack the paper. Calmness is very important in the paper. You cannot be overthinking. You cannot be stressed, and you cannot say this to yourself, not this year, next year. I like to add here, Anushka, that many students, what they do is next year, maybe not this year, next year. And so I had this student from Delhi College of Engineering. अब उसको they say give it a different name. He took the paper 1 year before he was actually eligible. He got a 99 point some percentile, right? Got a call from all IIMs. He took the paper next year because first year, that year he was not eligible. Next year again took the paper, got 92 percentile. Okay, so you don't know, and he was better prepared the second time, not the first time. First time he was relaxed. So the point to be noted is that he was relaxed, right? If Kohli goes out, and I really like to compare preparation with sports. I'm a big sports fan. That if Kohli goes out there on the pitch, he's the most talented batsman, right? He cannot score. So the student needs to be there, relaxed, calm. And that's where I'm saying you have to manage everything together and stay calm. Very
This
true.
just
So one,
actually reminded me of something. As I was really relaxed, but at the same time, when I went to give my CAT examination, CAT has this particular pattern that you'll have first verbal, then DILR, then quant. So there is one thing that all of us can go through, which was either one section goes really well, so you get overconfident in the other one, or it goes really bad, so you just don't think now you can crack CAT. So while I was going for that, after verbal, I had DILR. My DILR went really good. Then I was confident that quant is something I'm good at. So I'll just do good. And I ruined my, I literally, I remember there were some options. I just did this. Like I chose D instead of C or something like that in two options. So I realized that one thing, if you're doing good, don't think that your result will be amazing now. You have to concentrate on the next section at that time. And at the same time, if you ruin one section, it's okay. Maybe the cutoff will go down. Everybody ruined it. Just don't think about one section. Just don't literally keep one section in your head and then go to the other section. Concentrate on one.
Right, right. Perfect, perfect. So did you actually, another question which comes, which I want to ask is that, did you refer to some other books, material, or what material books did you refer to?
Books in the sense for
the preparation,
to be
yes.
to be very honest, I did refer to the booklet. I didn't actually go for the outside book.
Okay.
I referred to the coaching booklets there. And no, I didn't actually go for the other ones.
Okay.
I was really shocked because it has all the levels that I had to cover. And eventually it was the practice that mattered.
So what you want to say that one should be sincere. Obviously, those concepts are covered in the material. The questions are going to come from there. Yes, don't twist it toward around it, but the questions are going to come from there. That's what you want to say?
Yes. Don't literally distribute your attention to everything. You will see somebody doing some book, somebody doing some other book, and you'll feel like I have to do everything. No, you have to have your concept clear. It's not just about doing many questions, it's about knowing the concept.
Okay.
So you will do questions in the mock eventually. Focus on one thing, complete it, then go to the next
one. What for a student, what would you like to tell a student who just started the preparation in August? Because we have some of those students as well. They could not for some reason, but they've just started in August. Now what? What should they do?
If you have okay, that's a tough one.
No. Yeah, what do you think? I'll tell them otherwise, but what do you think? We've been telling them, but what do you think? Is it possible to crack the paper?
Obviously, it's possible. It's not that it's not possible. CAT is something which requires the basic knowledge of concepts. Eventually, then you have to practice. If you are someone who can give your whole time to practice right now as well, it's fine. You can crack it. Don't think like I have been somebody's preparing from 2 years. There were people when I was preparing who were preparing for 2-3 years. So it's not about how much time, how many years you have prepared for. It's about how many hours, how much time you're giving now. So if you are preparing well right now, yeah, you can crack it. I won't say you can't.
No. So I always second it, and this example has come before as well. There was one student who started preparing, taking mock CATs and understanding his strengths and weaknesses and working on his weaknesses in the month of August. So I second that to what you said, that having confidence and calmness and preparing and not comparing, because everyone has their own pace, is very important. Percentiles are only a reflection of where you need to work hard. How did your strategy go right or wrong? Right. So analyze the papers properly. That's very important. So Anushka, just 1 minute. I'll just look at the other questions so that we're not missing on anything. Give me a minute. I while speaking, I just forgot looking at the questions. Great. Okay. So what did you particularly do when you got a low percentile? What was your strategy? So did all your percentiles go fine in CAT paper, mock CATs rather?
No, actually, like I had a fair percentile in the beginning. I started from 70, then I went to 80, then I went to 90 as well. Okay. But eventually, after some time, my percentile started going down. And I know the reason as well. In the beginning, there are less people giving the examination.
Right.
They haven't prepared either. You all are
Yes.
starting the examination. Till the end, there are many people. At the same time, they have prepared. So I knew that. My percentile went till 70, went to 80, 90, then 80, then 70. So they were fluctuating. But I knew I was given this advice and I literally listened to it really well, which was analyzing the mock. So yeah, I was disheartened at many times. One thing that I did a lot was bug the faculty. I used to tell them that this is happening. What should I do next? Because they knew, they have seen so many students going through the same journey. So they know that what could be done, what has been going on. And they used to give me examples. That there was the student. It was the same thing.
Yeah, you can speak in Hindi, that's okay.
Okay. उसके साथ भी यही होता था. Eventually, I used to feel like, yeah, that person reached there. I can go there as well. So talk. Don't keep it to yourself. If you are not talking to the faculty, talk to the students. With you, talk to the alumni. You can connect on LinkedIn. Talk to anyone, but talk. Don't keep it to yourself that I am doing bad. Now I can do nothing. Because you eventually have to learn from other experiences as well.
So this was about getting things right. Okay, so now I want to just turn the question. So you obviously, some people around you could not make it. Let's talk about it a little so that people know what not to do. What do you think they were doing wrong? Why do you think they could not do it? So that 5-6 things which you feel that should never be done, right? That's wrong. Yeah.
One of them was, there were many of my friends who were scoring really good in mocks, like 95 plus percentile. They were really confident about it. And so that is one thing, that they only focused on mocks. They didn't focus on the preparation much. They were just focusing on the mocks percentile. So that is one thing I would suggest, because eventually they ruined their CAT. And when they ruined their CAT, it was not like they had someone to blame. They were like, we were doing good. How can this be possible? So you don't even have an explanation to it. So one thing I would say, don't just focus on the percentile you are getting in mocks. There is both ways. There were some of my friends who were getting really low percentile. They didn't even have the confidence to do good in CAT, because they were like, we are just giving the paper. We know nothing could happen to it.
Okay.
That is one thing that I was told, don't love your percentile.
Okay.
Don't fall in love with your percentile.
Very right. Very right. Yes.
Because eventually they are not the ones that will take you to CAT. You can't literally say that I got this much percentile in that mock, so let me be in this IIM. Eventually, it's that one day which is deciding. So it's okay. Give the exam. You're getting good percentile, good. Continue with your preparation. You're not getting good percentile, continue with your preparation. Analyze it well. So one of that advice. The other one I would say is, don't lose hope. You are so good and you got bad percentile. You were so bad and you got, anyway, don't lose hope. People are getting, I had friends who never got good percentile. They had like 60 percentile most of the time. They did amazing in CAT. So it's not like it is defining you. It's eventually your preparation. So don't lose hope. Miracles happen, I would say. Don't lose hope.
What did some of your friends say that, chalo, is saal nahi, agle saal dekhenge?
Many of them. Actually, after giving my CAT, it was one thought with me as well, that I was thinking that I can't do good this year. I will give other examination, but eventually I have to go for placements and everything. I'll have work experience and everything. It happened. But there are some of my friends who were like, I won't even give the examination now.
Which is wrong.
Yeah, which is really wrong. You think you can't do well, talk to people, still you think, don't literally go like, I won't give the examination. Many people talk to me right now and they'll be like, I don't think I should fill the form of that because that is really difficult. That's not true. It is difficult, I understand, but why won't you fill the form? What's the harm?
It's difficult for everyone, right?
Yeah, it's difficult for everyone.
And it's a relative scoring.
Yes. And I would say, yeah, and you get an edge in every examination. People are different. I did good in that because I had 3 hours. I could choose which section I want to go for. There are people who don't want this. They are good in CAT because they are good with verbal, starting with verbal and everything. They are good with time management. So you are different. Don't literally just go by letting people know, letting people define that this is good for you and this is not. You will eventually do what you are good at.
Right. So I second that. 60 to 70% out, rather most of the students, the thought passes at least once, that not this year, next year, even the students who crack good examinations. For the other 60, 70%, they virtually left it. And that's the wrong thing, right? They have their own thought process, their own justifications, their own, they rumify themselves कि ये हमारा इसलिए नहीं हो सकता. But trust me, problem हर एक की life में है. Everyone is passing through, if not today, tomorrow, day after, they're passing through their own struggles in life, and they still end up being committed to a particular paper and the cause for their life. To make my life good, I have to do this. Okay, and slowly and gradually the aptitude improvement happens and you crack the paper. Okay, Anushka, yes. 5 minutes concluding remarks of whatever time you want, concluding remarks for the students listening, just listening to you. Yes.
I would say that you have prepared a lot. Okay. There would be someone who you think is better than you. There would be someone who is not. Let it go. You have prepared you have prepared a lot, and trust yourself right now. You have some time, revise. You have just started, study. That's all. You don't have to focus on others and others' preparation. You will do good. If you trust yourself, you will do good. And don't fall in love with a particular college or something, or have this assumption that I have to bring this percentile to get into this college. It's not that simple. They have very different algorithms to follow. You just have to focus on your preparation right now. Let this thing be decided after the result. Okay. So yeah, focus on your preparation. You will do good. It's just an examination. You have given many examinations. This is one of them. You have prepared for it. You will do good. That's all.
So there, I have another question for you. Sorry, though I said concluding remarks, I have another question for you because you gave me something which happened to you. I'm sure. You got. Did that happen with you in the paper, that you got stuck on a particular question? You spent a lot of time and then realized you could not do it. What did you think? What were your thought process? If you have to do a little recap, but tell us what was your thought process at that time.
Yeah, if I would say this has happened this has happened many times in quant actually. So
because you yourself think that since I'm an engineer, how can I not be solving a particular question? Am I right?
That's not just being an engineer. I used to think that I'm really good at this. I love maths. So how can I not get this question right? I have prepared for it. But it's not about it. It's not about how good you are. It's more about that one question and what was your thought process at that particular time. You might solve it after that. So CAT is not a paper where you have to solve every question. CAT is a paper where you have to solve as many questions as you can in the given time. Every question has the same mark. So literally don't just fall for one question and go on solving it. It's not about that. Nobody will know that you could solve it or could not. Eventually, you have to solve as many questions you can. Leave the question. Designate the time here. Designate the time you want to give to every question. If you have time left, go back to that question. It's fine. But don't fall for one question and just go on doing that.
पर बच्चे गलती तो हुई होगी फिर भी पेपर में, तो तब क्या? What were your emotion?
My emotion after trying.
You were taking the paper and the ZAT. Yeah. कि अब फंस गए, अब क्यों फंसे? क्या लगता है उस क्वेश्चन पे क्यों फंसे? And what did you how did you come out of it, and what did you do?
There were many questions where I thought that I was putting the right concept, but I was not eventually. Okay. At times you just calculate things wrong. I have this belief in myself that many times that I am doing the right thing, but my calculation is wrong. So I keep going through the calculation. So that is one thing that actually held me back many times in the main examination as well, that I was just rechecking my calculation, which takes a lot of time.
Yes.
So I believe that is one thing that actually something I spent a lot of time in. So that is what were my emotions? I was really frustrated because I was feeling that I have done really good in CAT till now, and now in the end I'm just winning it. Now I can't get into anything. So I was really frustrated, and when I'm frustrated, I was just not getting the answer because I was just thinking about the fact that now I can't do anything. So focus on the question, I would say. Don't think about the outcomes now.
Right. So I'll take an example and I'll put in my concluding remarks to the session. So the same happens when Kohli misses a couple of balls, or Bumrah gets hit for a couple of sixes, or Chahal gets hit for a couple of sixes. These situations are going to come in your life. These situations are going to come in your paper. At the end of the day, how quickly do you come out of such things is going to define success. If Kohli thinks, why did the lean patch of Kohli last a little longer? Because Kohli thinks he's really good, and he is good. But then when you're passing through a lean patch, you cannot say that, how can it happen to me? See, problems, crests and troughs are going to come in everyone's life. Everyone's life, even in the paper is testing you. So that's to all my students now. And Anushka can correct me, right? She's the star of the evening today. No, you can. So, these problems are going to come, and how quickly do you come out of it? How can you take all along with you and clear the paper? What do I mean by take all along with you? So your parents, we had another student who was helping his father in business, and he used to tell his father, now these 3 hours, he used to help him. Now these 3 hours are for my CAT preparation. Okay, no, don't disturb me. And his father, really wanted his help, but he used to help him also. So what I'm trying to say here is that you might be required by your family. You might be required by your friends, but take your friends along in a way that make your friends also prepare for this examination. And the moment you do it, everyone around you is just talking about solving questions, how to get a particular RC question right, how to get a particular quant question right, and that's how you crack the paper. So Anushka, thank you so much for being with us today, sharing your views. It was really enlightening, and I'm sure the students who are listening to us are, some of them from there are going to come up, and we're going to interview them the next year. And we obviously look forward to a long-term association also with you in whatever capacity we can engage you with the students. And so, wish you all the best.
Thank you so
whatever
much.
you do in life, right? It's always very noble thing to come over and guide students, and that's very important that they get right. This generation has the capability, including you. You're not, someone too senior, but yes, and years senior to them now. But this generation, I always feel has the capability, is much more smarter than the previous generations, and can crack papers. Just that this generation is a little less calm. Okay, so the moment you are not you are, but just be calm, keep preparing, be sincere to yourself. Boyfriends and girlfriends will keep coming. Don't worry, no one's going to run away from your life. So at this time, if you really want to get through a good B school, you will get through B school. Am I right, Anushka?
Yeah, you will.
Yes. Wish you all the best, bache. Do really well in life, and keep shining. It's always good to see Hitbullseye students conquering frontiers. Great.
Thank you so much.